About a year ago, I was sitting right here in this exact spot, camera set up, ring light on, notes written, my finger was hovering over the record button, and I just couldn't press it. I froze, and the reason was a single loud thought screaming in my head, who am I to make a YouTube video? I called it the preparation trap, using planning as the perfect excuse to never actually begin. What was underneath that? Actually, two big fears. The first one, the fear of putting something out and getting criticism before I had even built confidence. And second, believing that I needed to consume one more book, watch one more tutorial about how to make a YouTube video before I was qualified. I wasn't an expert, I didn't have a fancy setup, I hadn't made it yet, so what right did I have to share anything? If you've ever felt like that feeling of being an imposter or not being ready, this video is for you. Because a single book, this one right here, changed everything for me. It didn't give me advice, it gave me a permission slip. And the most surprising part, the general command wasn't be brilliant, it was be useful. And today, I wanted to tell you how it did that and the specific lessons that made me finally press record. My creative paralysis. My relationship with the creativity was all about consumption. I was the person in the reading nook, watching countless YouTube videos, taking endless notes. I was a professional learner and I loved it, but there was this growing itch. I wanted to contribute, to be part of the conversation, not just an observer. But every time I thought about creating, three big walls would slam down. The expert wall. I thought I needed a diploma or a title or 10,000 hours of mastery before I could speak. The originality wall. I thought everything I could say had been said and better by someone else. And the perfect wall. I believed my first video had to be a polished, flawless masterpiece. No ums, no stumbles, just perfection. It was exhausting and it kept me completely silent. And then I found this amazing book, Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. I picked it up, I thought it was a book about marketing. What I found was a map out of creative paralysis. It was a short, powerful guide that identified the exact swamps I was stuck in. Imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and isolation. And offered a straightforward path through them. It was the why and the how to begin I desperately needed. You don't have to be a genius, be a curator. The first and the most liberating idea, you don't have to be a genius, be a curator. Kleon talks about the myth of the lone genius and introduces a new concept called genius. Genius is an individual, but genius is the intelligence of a whole community. It's the idea that creativity is a conversation, not a monologue. He argues that in this digital age, one of the most valuable things you can do is to be a documentarian of your own journey, your taste, your influences, the things you're learning as you learn them. That has a value. You don't have to be the world's leading expert on a topic to share a cool thing you just discovered. This was my first permission slip. It meant I could make videos about, here is a video that changed my perspective, instead of here's the definitive guide to literature. It shifted my goal from being an authority to being a passionate, thoughtful amplifier of ideas I loved. It took the pressure off. Austin Kleon's first major reframe was this. Stop thinking of your creativity as a vault where you hoard precious, finished gems, and start thinking of it as a workshop where people can see you tinkering and playing around. In a vault mentality, you only open the door when you have a diamond to display. The pressure is immense. In a workshop mentality, the door is just open. People might see sawdust, have built projects and tools on the wall, and that's interesting. He writes, the real gap is between doing nothing and doing something, not between doing something and doing something perfect. Start with your curiosities, not your conclusions. I didn't need a fully formed philosophy on creativity. I could share just my curiosity about why it's so hard to start. That was my entry point. It lowered the bar from teach a masterclass to share a genuine question. Share your project, not just your product. This leads to the second, and for me, the most crucial lesson. Share your process, not your product. We're trained to only show the final, polished masterpiece, the published novel, the finished painting, and the successful launch. But the 99% of the work that happens before, the messy drafts, the failed experiments, the research, we hide all of that. Become a documentarian of what you do. Kleon says, take people behind the scenes. He frames it as ongoing open notebook. This solved my perfection wall. My first video didn't have to be my magnum opus. It could be just day one of figuring this out, or it could be me talking about a specific book that inspired me with my bad lighting and my slightly nervous voice. The book frames sharing as an act of generosity, not self-promotion. You're saying, hey, I'm working on this. As the writer's surgeon said, 90% of everything is crap. I found this helpful, maybe you will too. That reframe removed the ick factor that I had about putting myself out there. It wasn't about me, it was about offering something that might be useful in someone else's journey. The tiny, publish ritual. But how do you start? The book gave me two practical filters. First, the so what test. You share the thing you're working on, and you ask, what is interesting about this? Or what did I learn that someone else might benefit from? If you can answer that question, you have something to share. It's not look at me, it's look at this. Second, and this is the line that actually made me pick up my phone. The smallest possible thing. You don't start a new YouTube channel, you post one video. You don't write a book, you only post one paragraph. So that's what I did. I finished this book, I closed the back cover, and I thought, what is the smallest possible thing? It could be a single slide on Instagram with a quote, or it could be a thread on Twitter about the book you're reading. For me, it was this, a 90-second clip filmed on my phone talking about a specific page from this book that stuck with me. No fancy edits, just me and an idea. And I posted it, facing the dip. Anyone can be excited at the very beginning, but the real test comes after. For me, it was after my third or fourth video. The views were small, and that loud voice came back. See, no one cares. Who are you doing this for? This is where most people quit, and I wanted to. But the book's philosophy had a built-in survival mechanism for this exact moment. When the results or lack of them demoralize you, you have to pivot your focus from product back to process. I remembered Kleon's words, share your process. And I stopped asking, are people watching? And I started asking, am I documenting something true? I started treating each video not just a performance for an audience, but as a weekly log entry in my own creative journey. Was I sharing a genuine question? Was I learning something by making it? If yes, then it was a success, regardless of the numbers. The dip just became another part of the process to document, not a failure. So I asked myself, am I sharing in a way that feels true to me? Not to some idealized YouTubers, but to me. I realized my strength wasn't hyper-edited reviews. It was calm, conversational chats, so I leaned into that. The moment I focused on making videos that I would want to watch, rather than what I thought would work, the energy came back. This one small video led to another and another. It led to this channel, to this small but wonderful audience that I'm so grateful for. And the best part, each video feels like me. The who am I voice didn't vanish overnight, but now it was competing with a new, louder voice saying, share what you love. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this: your taste, what you love, what you save, what you notice, what sparks curiosity. That is your unique creativity fingerprint. Long before you have any skill, start sharing. Because the magic of showing your work is not in going viral, but it is in the quiet transformation of someone who consumes ideas to someone who participates in them. and that changes everything. If these conversations about books, ideas, and quiet creativity matter to you, then consider subscribing. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter.